Okay, let's try something different. Uh, why don't we try looking at a method which I'm going to call guess. And guess takes two arguments in, list 1 and list 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the code for guess. And then what I want you to do is I want you to see if you can figure out what it does. All right. So I'm going to put a con statement in here. Conned. And we have a couple of conned arguments. So first, empty. If list 1 is empty, we're going to return empty. Okay, let's make sure I get that right. All right, if is member, so we're eating our own dog food here, is member first, list 1, list 2, then what we're going to do is we're going to return cons first, list 1, and guess just having a little difficulty finding the space for this, so I'll just put it over here, and guess rest list 1, list 2. All right, so that paren takes care of the guess. This paren takes care of the cons, and the square bracket takes care of the is member. All right, whoops. And then our last one, we have an else. Spell else correctly here. So else. Otherwise, we're going to do guess of rest of list 1 and list 2. Okay, takes care of the guess, and that takes care of the else. And then we'll put the conned here, and we'll end the define there. Okay, so what the heck does this do? Right, that's the question. So what I want to do is let's do an example and see if we can trace it and get some idea of what this method does. All right, so given guess A, B, C, and A, B, D, E, what do we get? What is the result? All right, so let's see if we can figure out what happens here by tracing this. Now, I think what I'm going to do is use a little bit of magic here to take this code and shrink it. Whoops, let's get back here. Take this code and shrink it so we can observe it while we're doing the trace. So there we go. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to go down here and paste it. And part of the pasting, I'm going to shrink this down, make it a little bit tiny. Maybe not that tiny. We do need to see it. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good. And now what I want to do is I want to trace the execution of this program. So I'll try to write a little smaller over here, and let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to make it take up like about half the screen. There we go. Right. So I just want to trace the execution of this program. So we had guess. Gonna put on my glasses here so I can see what I'm writing, because I am writing a little bit smaller. And we'll make that a little tinier too. So we have guess of A, B, C, and that's list 1, and then list 2 is A, B, D, E. Okay, so let's trace this. All right, so is list 1 empty? That's the first thing that we need to check here. And the answer is no, it's not. All right, so then the question is the first thing in list 1, is the first thing in list 1 a member of list 2? Well, the first thing in list 1 is A, and is A a member of list 2? Well, yes it is. Look, there's A. Okay, so if it is, then we're going to do the following. We're going to do, that's going to trigger the following action. We're going to do a cons of the first thing, oops, let's write cons here. Cons of the first thing in list 1, which is A with guess the rest of list 1, which is B, C, and list 2, A, B, D, E. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Okay, cool. Well, in order to resolve this cons, we're going to have to execute this code, guess BC ABDE. So let's do that here. So guess of BC ABDE, I'm going to just reset this and this and say, okay, we're calling guess again. Is list 1 empty? Nope. All right. So is the first thing in list 1 a member of list 2? So is B a member of list 2? Yeah, it is. All right, so we're going to trigger another cons again. So this is going to be cons of B, and then we're going to do guess of C, A, B, D, E. Right, that's what this second part of the cons statement does. So we're calling guess again with the rest of list 1. Okay, so what's going to happen here? Well, let's take this and resolve it down here. So we're going to call guess again. And we are going to check, is list 1 empty? Nope. All right. So is C a member of ABDE? It is not a member of ABDE. So we're going to skip the is member cons and go to the else. And we're going to call guess again with rest list 1, list 2. All right, so this time we're not going to do a cons. We're just going to do guess with the rest of list 1, which is the empty list, and then A, B, D, E. All right, cool. So if I reset this and this and this, just make sure I rewrite the else there. Okay. So this time when we go into guess, what we're going to do is check to see, again, is the first, is list 1 empty? And the answer is yes, it is. So we're going to trigger that first conditional statement, and we're going to return an empty list. So this resolves into the empty list. All right, so we can actually now compute our result. This empty list gets returned to this guess. That's the return value of the guess statement. And we're going to cons B and the empty list. So that's we're going to end up with B. So then B is returned to this guess, and we're going to cons A and B. So we're going to end up with A with the list B, A and B. So then that, the list A, B, is returned to this guess. And so our answer, our solution, computed result, is going to be the list AB. So the result is AB. So what just happened here when we run this guess? Do you have an idea of what this does? Take a moment and think about it. Hit pause, and then we'll come up with our solution. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, the way what this method does is it looks at the items in the first list and does an intersection between the first list and the second list, effectively. So anything that's in the first list that is also in the second list will be reported back as the result. So basically, this is an intersection. Pretty cool.